how automated trucking impacts today's supply chains. Well, joining us to talk about that important topic, Peter Coratola Jr., CEO of Ease Logistics. Peter, it's great to see you once again. Welcome.
Thank you, Russell.
Peter, let's kind of a basic English lesson here for a moment. Words automated and autonomous seem to be tossed around as if they are synonymous, as if they mean the same thing.
Right.
So walk us through that. Is that the case? Are they the same or are they different?
They are different, and it is autonomous and automated do get used quite often as synonyms, so to speak. So when you look at how do you separate the two, right? It's decreasing the amount of human intervention, right? So when something's automated, we have started to reduce the amount of human intervention. When something is autonomous, we have removed the amount of human intervention, right? As an example, an automated driving truck would say, go from A to B and follow that truck, right? There'd be a driver in one, no driver in the second, right? We've reduced human intervention. An autonomous truck would say, go to point A to B, and it would execute it without any human intervention.
Okay, all right, great. I think we've got that straight. Now, if we talk about integrating the automated process into the trucking industry, I guess the threshold question is, what's the intent and what is the purpose of doing that? So walk us through that. What do you say?
So the driving force of introducing automated driving systems and autonomous vehicles, the driving force, and I think it's undisputed, is safety, right? There's a lot of commotion around it about, does it replace drivers, right? Does it, what is going to happen to the driver's workload, so to speak? The driving force is safety, right? Because what do we assess? On the road, there are so many variables, right? Drivers can only handle so much and we can only control so much, right? Driving a truck is a constant game of risk mitigation, right? So what's the goal when you try to risk mitigation and with all these external variables, other drivers, potholes, is when you add automation, right? You have more sensors and more things that are being done automatically, so the driver can continue to focus on safety, right? So they don't have to maybe always be checking in the blind spot or checking these things, right? So they have more systems working for them, right? Giving them more clear focus and elevating safety.
Now let's make one thing clear, because I know that when the topic comes up, people say, well, I don't see how in the world a truck can, navigate city streets without running over somebody. Are we talking about urban transportation, or are we talking about only over-the-road transportation here?
Right. So I don't want to put the focus into a box, so to speak. I would say the short term and long term, I would say in our lifetimes, this is strictly over the road, right? When we start to see impact, the impact really starts to come from high volume over the road, right? There's some, when you look at Australia, they use it and they do it in between the big metropolises, right? Going through the rural parts of Australia, right? Because there's not a lot of variables out there, straight roads, right? And they do 2, 3, 4 truck platooning, right? So when you look at where does it make sense for us, we're talking about open road, over the road, right? Long spans that are pretty straight, pretty forward, right? But we're really trying to avoid the application just because there's more infrastructure upgrades that have to happen inside metropolis areas before we want to start including automated vehicles.
Sure. Now, we established that safety is a primary concern and one of the major factors in implementing this type of technology in transportation. But let's talk about something else that's very important, and that's money. Pricing. How would automated trucking impact pricing in the industry? What do you say?
Right. So right now, where we are and what research is telling us is pricing is going to be impacted by the operator. So that means the trucking companies. Trucking companies are going to find optimization and reduction in diesel spend, right? Potential maintenance for items like brake pads and tires, right? Because less movement on or less workload on them because they're being used, I would say, more methodically, more effectively, right? So it's really on the operator side. How does that translate to the customer side, right? That translates to the customer side through lower cost per mile, right? But it has to be at a volume scale right now, right? Because for us to start to see this true production and diesel cost, right, for the second truck and platooning or the third truck and platooning, we have to have high volume, right? And right now, where the technology is we're getting between 2 to 3% reduction in diesel costs on the second truck, right? And about a 10% reduction, or I guess 10% increase in efficiency on items like brake pads and tires, right? So it's heavily on the operator, and it's on the operator to optimize these technologies and pass those costs to the customer, right? How does that look? Depending on how the operator uses this, is it to secure more business, right? Or is it to run a more efficient operation? But the result is in being able to operate at a lower cost per mile to the operator in hopes that it goes to the shipper.
Well, you can understand how if you optimize these aspects of the shipping industry, then there will be savings, cost savings, and those could be passed on. We'll see how that works out. I guess another extraordinarily important question that the viewer must have is, well, where are we right now? What's the status of the industry? How much of this is going on? So what do you tell us?
So how much is going on? I would say right now there's probably between 5 to 7 projects range, coast to coast domestically. What is a project? Anywhere between 2 and 10, right? Or 20 and 30 of these test projects deployed across the United States right now, testing different environments. Where are we? So right now we are in beta testing and essentially writing the user guide. So what does that look like? When we get these technologies delivered to us, right? They come with a giant book of things you can't do, right? And the name of the game of research and activating these and what information is getting all the things that we can't do and testing them in environments to build the things that we can do, right? In essence, we're taking all the things that they say we can't, that are very general, but very, right? Can't be in wind at 25 miles, can't be in wind at 30, right? Very, very specific, right? And you test and test and test these technologies, and then it kind of writes the guide rails of how we will apply these in the best use cases. So right now, the book of don'ts is a lot thicker than the book of do's, right? But we're making a lot of progress on writing the pages of how this will be where we can apply these in the best use cases.
Well, this is an impossible question, but is there any kind of likely timeline, where you think, okay, we'll arrive at this point where we can now do this?
I would say in the next 3 to 5 years, we will see it be heavily adopted. When I say heavily adopted, large national fleets will all have a presence with it, right?
Okay.
Years 5 plus, I think we will start seeing the optimization from the fleet side roll over to the customer side for savings.
Okay, excellent. Final question, Peter, but very important one because people are going to want to know what is the role of Ease Logistics in this whole exciting area here of automated trucking. So tell us a little about the focus of Ease. What's going on there?
Sure. So Ease is a solution and service focused 3PL. We strategically have assets on the warehouse and fleet side, right? Why this is important to Ease is because our model is essentially to make an impact for customers through innovation, strong engagements, and measurable success. So when we look at areas that are going to move this industry forward, that have both positive impact on the operator and the shipper, right? It draws Ease's attention, right? And being able to be a leader in the space for testing and helping to write the book of do's, I feel like as a service provider, we owe it to our customers to continually bring solutions that are on the forefront of this industry. So it's something we really pride ourselves on, right? And as we continue to move through this, it's, our hopes is to be a leader in the activation of these technologies for our customers, right? And to our drivers for also increasing safety.
Well, it's quite forward-looking what you're doing in a very, very important area, in the trucking industry. Wish you all the best going forward. Thank you so much for finding the time to speak with us today. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
It's Peter Coratola Jr., Ease Logistics, speaking with us today about how automated trucking is going to improve and impact shipping. Thanks for watching.